How do you get avid gun owners and people that support the Second Amendment to give up their guns and go along with anti-gun legislation? How do you do that? Maybe you accomplish that by performing a mass shooting into a crowd that is very likely to be conservative. You make them scared, you make them victims, and you change their mindset, and then possibly you can pass anti-gun legislation.
Republican Congresswoman-elect Marjorie Taylor Greene is a piece of work, to say the least. Come January 2021, the conspiracy theory supporting anti-masker will represent the 14th congressional district in Georgia, to the chagrin of many, including her colleagues, who have called her statements appalling and deeply troubling, as well as disgusting. Given Greene's antics, inquiring minds want to know what can be done to remove a member of the House from office. Well, I'm attorney Adrienne Lawrence, and I've got the deets for you. This is Overruled. Welcome to TYT Overruled, where you get to be the judge. Your case for today concerns what it takes to remove a member of the House of Representatives from Congress, with a little bit of a specific nod to Congresswoman-elect Marjorie Taylor Greene. So here are the 3 things that you need to know about punishing or possibly removing congresspersons. First, there are largely 3 types of punishment that can befall members of Congress: reprimand, censure, and expulsion. Let's look at each. Reprimand is arguably a ceremonial nonsense. It's nothing substantive, really. It simply registers that the House disapproves of the behavior, and reprimand requires a simple majority vote of the House. Censure, which also requires a majority vote of the House, is a step short of expulsion. Now, the congressperson's party gets to decide the punishment when it comes to censure, and that is typically involves something like removing the congressperson from leadership positions and committee chairmanships. It also happens to involve giving them the scarlet letter treatment. Basically, the congressperson who's being censured has to stand before the House in the well and be censured by the Speaker of the House. And we know Marjorie Taylor Greene is already off to a great start with the Speaker of the House.
So I can tell you right now, I'll fight harder than anyone, and I'll be holding Nancy Pelosi accountable and not allowing her to do anything to change our country.
Now, expulsion, that is the most serious form of punishment. It's exactly like what it sounds. Bye, deuces, you're out. Second, so on what grounds and how can a member be expelled from the House? Well, Article 1, Section 5 of the Constitution allows the House to expel members according to their own self-created rules and without the consent of the Senate. So the House has broad authority here. Basically, if a congressperson is accused of breaking the House rules, a resolution to expel the member is issued. That resolution gets referred to the House Committee on Standards of Official Conduct. And typically, the committee starts a subcommittee to conduct an investigation. They look into everything and they issue findings and a report with a recommendation. If expulsion is a recommendation, the report gets forwarded to the entire House and it votes on whether to expel the member. Now, unlike reprimand and censure, expulsion requires a 2/3 majority vote in the House. Third, so what are the chances that a congressperson would actually be expelled? So if history tells us anything, the chances are slim to none, unless she breaks the law and gets convicted. So only 5 members of the House have ever been expelled. 3 of them during the Civil War, and the last 2 were in the 20th century. So in the 1980s, Pennsylvania Dem Michael J. Myers, well, he was bounced for accepting $55,000 from an undercover FBI agent dressed as a sheik. And he was promising him that he would lobby immigration issues and vote in his favor. Yeah, so that didn't work out well for him. Then in 2002, Ohio Democrat Jim Traficant, I think his name is, well, he was expelled after being convicted on 10 counts of racketeering, bribery, tax evasion, including taking over $100,000 from mobsters and demanding kickbacks from his staff. He's a real winner. All said, Marjorie Taylor Greene may spout some nonsense, but she's unlikely to be booted from Congress until, if she's charged and convicted with a relatively serious crime. So that's it. Those are the 3 things you need to know about removing a member from the House of Representatives. Now, given that our toxic culture is really starting to emerge and people are seeing how dangerous it is to democracy, do you think that the House is more likely to lower that expulsion bar so that they can bounce folks quicker? Or do you think they're going to stick to this high bar of let's wait and see if they're convicted and charged with a crime? Charged and convicted. Either way, let me know your thoughts below. Hey, follow us for more and hit me up on Twitter using hashtag TYTOverruled. Thanks for watching.